And what protocols are in place when there's unsubstantiated information being put out for the world and world leaders to show?
What's unsubstantiated about the video?
I think the better question is what part of her boss's rambling isn't unsubstantiated?
And the people that are being killed in large numbers, and you saw all those grave sites, and those are people that loved ones going, I guess on a Sunday morning, they told me, to pay respect to their loved ones that were killed. Their heads chopped off. They died violently. And, you know, I mean, we're here to talk about it, and I didn't know we'd get involved here. But I will say this, that if the news wasn't fake, like NBC, which is fake news, totally, one of the worst, ABC, NBC, CBS, horrible. But if they weren't fake news like this jerk that we have here, if we had real reporters, they'd be covering it. But the fake news in this country doesn't talk about that.
We have too many deaths, but it's across the board. It's not only white farmers. It's across the board. And we need technological help.
It seems foreign leaders come to the Oval Office at their own risk. The latest subject was South African president. He was subjected to a false video and false images of reports that weren't even about his country. So Trump decided to humiliate him, put him on the spot, but instead he just looked like a fool because he showed a video that actually wasn't what he was trying to say it was. There's crosses that was a memorial to a couple, but doesn't actually represent the number of people that were killed. So Trump doesn't care about the facts, though, and decided to use it as some sort of basis for claim of white genocide that's not actually happening there. And then he also showed a picture of an image, and he said this also was his, help support his claim. But it turned out, according to the BBC, because we could see the picture in the video, that image wasn't even from South Africa. It was about women being killed in the Democratic Republic of Congo. So our president, who evidently has so much power at his disposal, couldn't even fact check a basic newspaper article before showing it to the president of a sovereign country. And his whole purpose was evidently to humiliate the sovereign country. This is kind of where Trump is at in terms of his negotiations. In fact, he even, the president kind of joked with him, sorry, I can't give you a jet. And the president was like, well, God, Trump was like, wouldn't that be nice if I got a plane from you? I mean, he's not even trying to pretend how transactional of a nature was. He literally took that joke as like a serious offer. But people realize that this is what Trump is. He's a transactional purpose. And the South African president brought a book of his golf resorts in his country because people know you got to bring him a gift and it's all about golf. And sadly, he's not a very complicated person, Trump. He's just all about corruption. So let's talk about the Qatari plane because Trump didn't like the fact that he got questioned about this Qatari plane. First, he tried to say that it was a gift. And now Qatar has come out and said they never intended to gift it to him. In fact, they've been trying to find a buyer for years. Obviously, it would be very hard to find a buyer for a Boeing 747 that's as expensive to fly as it is. And so they thought that this plane was going to get bought because, as Qatar says, they have no need to try to buy influence. They have already spent $10 billion building out the largest U.S. Air Force base in the Middle East is in Qatar. They've spent $10 billion and they're planning to spend $10 billion of their own dollars to build out our Air Force base. So they kind of pointed out, why would they feel the need to give a free jet to Trump? No, as always, Trump kind of lies about everything. First, he says it's a gift and then it's not a gift. Either way, he saw a shiny object. He liked the cashmere interior and decided he wanted to get it regardless of what the Constitution had to say about it. Take a look.
Mr. President, the Pentagon announced that it would be accepting a Qatari jet to be used as Air Force One. Perhaps
what are you talking about?
Can we have a South Africa question, please? Mr. President,
the Pentagon's moved first.
What does this have to do with the Qatari jet? They're giving the United States Air Force a jet, okay? And it's a great thing. we're talking about a lot of other things. It's NBC trying to get off the subject of what you just saw. You are a real, you're a terrible reporter. Number one, you don't have what it takes to be a reporter. You're not smart enough. But for you to go into a subject about a jet that was given to the United States Air Force, which is a very nice thing. They also gave $5.1 trillion worth of investment in addition to the jet. Go back. You ought to go back to your studio at NBC because Brian Roberts and the people that run that place, they ought to be investigated. They are so terrible the way you run that network, and you're a disgrace. No more questions from me. Go ahead. Go ahead, talk about that.
Please, may we have a South African
His name is
question,
Peter
Mr.
something.
President
He's
Trump?
a terrible
If they're
reporter.
committing genocide, why invite them to the White House? I'll be quiet.
Quiet.
Sure, that's my question now.
Let's go.
When your job is to report the facts and what is happening at the White House. I mean, that is the sole job of the press secretary. And instead, all you're doing is doubling and tripling down on the misinformation, the lies, the nonsense that your boss is doing. It just starts to make your job look like nothing. So the press secretary is out there trying to, justify the video of the crosses, but she just makes it worse. Take a listen.
The president showed a video that he said showed more than 1,000 burial sites of white South Africans that he said were murdered. We know that that was not true and that the video wasn't showing that. So I wonder, why did the president choose to show that?
True, Yamiche?
It's not true that the video was showing a burial site. It is unsubstantiated that that's the case.
No, it is true that video showed the crosses that represent.
Which what the president claimed.
The video showed images of crosses in South Africa about white farmers who have been killed and politically persecuted because of the color of their skin.
The president
and those
claimed
crosses
that
are
it was showing
representing their
burial.
lives. Those crosses are representing their lives in the fact that they are now dead and their government did nothing about it. Are you disputing that there's no...
disputing the fact that the video showed what the president claimed it showed, because it did not show that. But even more, what I'm asking you is who at the White House...
it did show that. It showed white crosses representing people who have perished because of racial persecution.
Verifies the videos that the president shows, and what protocols are in place when there's unsubstantiated information being put out for the world and world leaders to
Yamiche,
show?
what's unsubstantiated about the video? The video shows crosses that represent the dead bodies of people who were racially persecuted by their government. In fact, the Associated Press, of all places, has a picture of that very monument, and the caption from the Associated Press is, "Each cross marks a white farmer who has been killed in a farm murder." So it is substantiated, not just by that video and the physical evidence that everybody saw on display in the Oval Office, but also by another outlet in this room, the Associated Press. So you should take it up with them if you believe the claim is unsubstantiated. And that's a ridiculous line of questioning.
Another day for the history books today from Donald J. Trump. An astonishing display from him in the White House today. Donald Trump meeting with the president of South Africa and attempting to ambush and humiliate that leader inside the Oval Office. But what he did instead was embarrass and humiliate the people of the United States of America again. In his meeting with President Ramaphosa, Trump peddled unsubstantiated claims of genocide in South Africa of white South Africans, a group that ruled during apartheid in South Africa. It is a fringe conspiracy theory pushed by the likes of Elon Musk, Tucker Carlson, and David Duke, the former Grand Wizard of the KKK.
Larry, you can give us some context on one of the videos that President Trump played in the Oval Office. He was claiming that there was 1,000 roadside graves. Apparently, this is a video that had been of a political statement made by a specific political party in South Africa, but not of actual grave sites, just a political demonstration to highlight violence against farmers.
Love this video? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram @MeidasTouch and help us blow past 1 million followers.